Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for the segment, we have John Phillips, co-founder of PredictIt, the stock market of politics. We're going to take a look at the nominations for the Supreme Court of the United States, as well as the tenure of Boris Johnson over in the UK. John, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Hi, Jill. Good to see you too.
All right, and I'm glad that we put forward this topic for this afternoon because I always find it interesting to see how predicted traders are pricing in trends. I'm curious to know who they think could potentially get the nomination for the Supreme Court and what the timing might look like.
Well, that's really interesting. And the second question is as interesting as the first, right? Who it's going to be is obviously critical to a lot of people, and that's what the Senate's going to be voting on, depending on who the nominee is. But when it's going to happen is also deeply entwined with political realities. So first, in terms of who's it going to be, there are three candidates for the Supreme Court, and there seems to be a general consensus among predicted traders that it's Jackson, Childs, and Kruger, and each one of them has sort of a unique background. Jackson is the odds-on favorite, according to predicted traders, at 62% odds that she's going to be the nominee, followed by Childs at 23% odds, and Kruger at 14. Now, to your other question, which is when is it going to happen? Well, now it gets kind of interesting, right? Because you've got this timetable of the elections coming up and a perception that the Democrats may lose control of the Senate, which is razor thin, as we know right now. So there's going to be rocket boosters strapped onto whoever the nominee is going to be. And the process may be as accelerated as it was with Amy Coney Barrett, which was very, very fast. And so traders think by 96% odds, there's going to be a confirmed new Supreme Court justice this year. But in terms of how soon that's going to happen, that's an interesting question. They think it's only 27% odds it's going to happen by April 1st. And there's another interesting wrinkle. There's a rumor going around, and it's just a rumor, that Biden might appoint Vice President Kamala Harris to become the Supreme Court nominee, and then appoint another vice president to serve with him. Traders only ascribe a 1% odds, Jill, to that one. So that's a real long shot. But if you like 100 to 1 odds, that's your pick.
Yeah, I read about that over the weekend myself and kind of did a double take. I'm not necessarily sure that could potentially be the right fit. But, you know, John, in terms of how long these things take, is there a precedent for that? In theory, we would like for justices not to be voted down party lines. They should be focused on the Constitution, not necessarily political parties. And we know that really has not been the case. We're very higher polarized. That's not a secret. So is there a precedent for how long things should take, or what's an acceptable time for confirmation?
Well, I don't know that there is a precedent, actually. Amy Coney Barrett is the most recent, was very, very abbreviated. Mitch McConnell jammed that nomination through. Of course, they had the votes to do it in the Senate. The Democrats show and so if there's a precedent, I guess you could say that's the precedent. You get it done as quickly as possible while you have political advantage. You know, you were in diapers at the time that Justice Clarence Thomas went through his confirmation process in the United States Senate. So, you know, that was the first time really in my recollection that a nomination was as contested as the Thomas nomination and confirmation hearings were. And of course, Joe Biden, who was then the head of the Senate Judiciary Committee, played a big role in that. The Democrats were opposing and questioning Thomas's clarifications and the whole allegation around alleged behavior. So, you know, that too is unprecedented. But now, I mean, it's hard to imagine any nomination is not going to be met with vociferous opposition from those who think that the justice, which is a lifetime appointment, won't reflect their views.
Right. Right. Well, you're too kind. I was a freshman in high school at the time, but I'll take that. I'll certainly take that. So, John,
freshman in high school. That's hard to imagine. That's great.
it goes by really quick. So to our younger viewers, never take a day for granted. But John, let's wrap up here and talk about the UK and what's happening with Boris Johnson. What are predicted traders pricing in terms of his longevity with his tenure?
Well, that's interesting, right? Our favorite topic, Jill, is Boris Johnson's party animal. So the good news is there are going to be photos released sometime in the next week of some of those wild and crazy parties at Downing Street that the Prime Minister was allegedly partaking in. So I can hardly wait to see those. Expect to see British lawmakers with lampshades on their head. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but predicted traders are convinced that Boris is going to hang on to his job by 77% odds, at least through the end of the month. So that's not exactly a big resounding endorsement of his longevity. And in fact, only 58% odds they're ascribing that he'll be still prime minister by the end of May. So they think his days are numbered. Now, you know, he is making a valiant effort to put himself at the center of the efforts between Russia and Ukraine to broker a peace or a stay, I guess, of a possible Russian invasion. And so Boris is trying to shift attention over to that. Some would say he's just doing his job. But today's parliamentary proceedings, if you watched any of that, there were fireworks. It was almost as exciting as watching the United Nations deliberations at Security Council today. I don't know if you caught that, but that was also really interesting. It was a brawl between the U.S. and the Russian representatives to the Security Council.
All right. Never a dull moment in politics, that's for sure.
Let me mention. Oh, no,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, mention your one more thing.
Yeah, I wanted to say one more thing. So for those of you who are listening to Jill and me talk about this stuff, if you're interested in opening a predicted account so you can actually get in on the action, we've got a special for you. Use this following URL. It's www.predictit.org/promo/TradeTalks50. And if you use that URL to open a new account, we will match up to $50 of your first deposit. And then you can get in on all the fun.
Awesome. Thanks so much,
Thanks,
John.
Jill.
In fact, we had that link playing throughout the video. So what you saw throughout the video is the same thing that John is referencing. John, great to see you as always. Appreciate it. And thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks, Jill.